It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Good evening, everybody. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Great to have you with us on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll see the Charlotte Hornets playing against the Miami Heat. Looking at the last game for the Heat, it was a loss to Detroit. They're keeping pace with their win total from last season, holding steady, though they'd like to move the needle and continue to improve. And the Miami Heat, retiring Shaq's number this past season. Shaq, tell us what that meant to you that night.
It was a tremendous honor. Some great memories playing in the Heat uniform. I can remember when I got traded from L.A. and I arrived there in the diesel truck, and I just told the people I was going to bring them a championship, and I delivered. Shaq Stradamus did it again. The big Aristotle did it again. The big Miami Heat player did it again.
It looked like that huge jersey they raised to the rafters. Looks like he could still fit in it.
Yeah, I can.
Still fit in it. I think he can fit in it now. But, Shaq, you know, you helped him win that first championship was impressive. And Pat Riley said it was the biggest acquisition that he's ever had in a Miami Heat uniform, because I don't think the other players would have followed suit that came down to Miami after you. Don't cry. I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to make you cry. I do this all the time,
I think we were
man.
all a little emotional.
I make you cry all the time, man. You start crying and I start crying.
I know,
man.
and then when you guys start, there's no way I can help it. Because we're so tight on this show, and when something good happens to one of us, it's like it happens to all of us.
Stop.
You're not supposed to cry in a video game.
Oh, man. Ridiculous. The kids are watching us going, what are they doing?
It's almost time to tip.
God, Jack.
Greetings, everyone, from Charlotte as we bring you an Eastern Conference contest for this Hornets home game. This is Kevin Harlan, and by my side, Chris Webber and Greg Anthony. From the sideline, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. And it's back to Miami for the Heat at the conclusion of today's game. It has not been a dramatic change this season to the performance last year in terms of the record, guys. Every game, though, a chance to get better as a team.
And when you look at Miami, they had the kind of hot and cold start that we've kind of come to expect. Nothing that would indicate they're in for any kind of a breakout season.
This makes you wonder, will they continue to be inconsistent as the season progresses? At this point, they look like they're still finding out their identity as a team, which is why they have struggled.
And two of the better defensive teams playing tonight, Chris. They don't take a lot of plays off, do they?
No, they don't take any plays off. And you have to credit their coaching staff, their culture in that locker room about that. Their defense first, but you have to make sure that you communicate just as much as you use your physical effort on the floor. Defense, a lot of times, is playing position defense first, being where you know you should, paying attention to the little things.
That communication, one of the more underrated parts of playing defense, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. And one of the best at it used to be a guy named Roscoe, Ball Don't Lie, Rasheed Wallace. He was sitting that back, him and KG, and they would kind of be the anchors telling you to watch out, screen, left, man coming right, I got your back, send them to the right. Those type of things allow you to have more confidence because really, Kev, you cannot guard anyone in the NBA one-on-one, period. If you're at the offensive player's mercy, you need as much help behind you in front of that basket as you can get.
Great answer. God, that was a great answer. So the opening lineup for the Heat, Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. White is out there with Whiteside, and it's Richardson in at the small forward. There's 53 seconds left in the first quarter. Shot left block. Dragic against the bucket.
I tell you what, it's almost like stealing to watch how he plays the game from this seat.
Williams, a screen on Waiters. And Lamb kicks to Walker. Pass to Williams. There's the dish to Lamb. Williams a screen and a wide open look for Walker. And the shot is long.
I didn't see that miss coming. I mean, he's usually been money from that range.
Richardson dishes to Dragic. Pass to Whiteside. Now the feed to Waiters. No stopping him there. Jams it in as he's fouled. A chance now for a three-point play. That's on Dwight Howard.
And he just dangles from the bucket after sending that one through.
And you can see which team has the swagger right now. The Heat shooting their first free throw attempt on the night. Now, here's Monk. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 9.5 points a game. Will it go? And so it's the Miami Heat, bringing the quarter to a close with a 7-point lead. A look at the field goal percentage numbers tells the story of what tough defense they're playing today. And we'll be back with you shortly. And forward James Johnson battled his way back into the league after some stints abroad. He talked about his approach to the game.
I play the game how it's supposed to be played. I play offense, I play defense, I rebound, steals, blocks. You know, I'm pretty much that guy who likes to work hard and don't want anybody to beat him out, you know, except the challenge.
That's exactly the kind of hard-nosed, old-school attitude that coaches just love.
Kevin, and so do his teammates. I mean, a guy like that brings out the best in everybody on that team. They just kind of feed off of his effort and desire.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And let's quickly break down the game we've been seeing from the Heat, guys.
I think they play great D and not giving up anything easy early on.
Yeah, closing down the lane, closing out on perimeter shooters. Interesting first quarter.
Walker and Monk are the guard tandem. Zeller is out there with Bacon, and it's Kaminsky in at the center position. So that's the group out there for Charlotte.
Well, how about Kelly Olynyk? I mean, a 7-footer, more of a power forward than a center, but he can step out and shoot pretty light on his feet and can finish strong inside.
And Chris, an interesting note about Olynyk. He's the rare player whose arm span is less than his height.
Yeah, that is rather weird, and I'm sure that impacts him as a shot blocker, but it doesn't affect his jump shot because he has a wet one and he can get to the cup whenever he needs to.
2 shots.
Free throw drops for Monk.
And maybe not as highly touted as some other guards that went before him, but Malik Monk can be scary on the floor. He can get hot like no other, and once he's dialed in, the points just seem to flow.
That one misses. And Greg, as you said, Monk has that ability to take over with his shooting.
I mean, Monk looks to get going with his scoring at all times, and he's just got that shooter's mentality where all shots are good shots. That can be a positive and a negative, but I prefer he have that aggressive mentality when it comes to scoring the basketball.
And here's Olynyk from the arc. That's a no-go, and he's still looking for his first bucket after 2 shots. They set the screen. Monk kicks to Walker. Passes it to Bacon. Back to Walker. From deep. They get it again. Kaminsky. First shot, first basket. He's out of the blocks fast.
He's so intelligent around the rim. Kaminsky found a way to own that possession.
Johnson, the pass to Johnson. Heat moving the ball around. There's the pass to Winslow. 6 on the shot clock. Johnson with it. Now guarded by Kaminsky. Johnson's shot is off.
He may have missed it, but that's a clean look at the basket.
And Walker kicks to Kaminsky and finished off by Kaminsky.
Just amazing work from Walker. Really zipping the rock fast to the wide open man.
Tie game here in Charlotte. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the halftime show on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. The game plan did not work out for Charlotte in the first quarter. They struggled to find an offensive rhythm or come up with enough stops and sunk into a 7-point hole by the end of the period. They came out in the second quarter with a lot more energy and with some nice offensive stretches and were able to even things up before the half. Shaq, your thoughts on the Hornets?
Well, on offense, I like to see them play inside out more. Attack the basket, generate easy points. And then once the defense collapses, kick it out to the perimeter for open looks. Trust me, I know. Rick Fox, Big Shot Bob, that's all we did.
Kenny, what'd you think about Miami?
Well, it's always a little bit of a challenge playing on the road, but they came in mentally prepared and physically prepared. The energy in the arena was fierce, but they didn't cave in.
So that'll do it for now as we send you courtside with Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew for the start of the second half.
Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to Charlotte. The buildings of downtown shining in the background. And now the start of the second half. Neither side jumping out ahead through the first two quarters. And Chris, I know you started doing a podcast, Fearless or Insane, with Chris Webber. An opportunity to have some meaningful conversations. What's that been like?
Oh, it's been great, Kevin. I've gotten a chance to talk to some friends, some mentors like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I've gotten to speak to him about what it was like playing for Wooden, what it was like coming up in the crazy 60s and that time. And, you know, he's such a thoughtful and a great individual. So to hear his stories about he and Muhammad Ali, he and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these great figures is just wonderful. I also got to speak to track legends John Carlos and Tommy Smith, who in the 1968 Olympics, we've seen them kind of protest when they put their fist up in defiance and kind of put their voice out for the voiceless. And I got to talk to them about how tough of a moment that was. Did they know the sacrifice that they were making? What happened, the backlash to what happened? And then all these years later, do they feel kind of vindicated that we're showing them so much love and people around the world appreciate what they've done? So we try to just discuss fearless or insane. You know, they say insane is doing the same thing over, expecting a different result, where these guys put their lives on the line.
Yes.
And they kind of knew that it necessarily wouldn't change the arc of justice, but they felt that they had to do it. And so it's just some cool conversations with people and athletes that were much more than an athlete. And I've learned a lot, and it's been a cool podcast.
Here's who Eric Spoelstra is starting the second half with. Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. Josh Richardson out there with White. And it's Whiteside in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. White dishes to Richardson. Shot clock at 6. To end the run, and the layup is good.
Unbelievable basket. I mean, giving up a lot of height there, but he was not to be denied.
Now, that's a gutsy take on his part to make that happen. Many would not have tried that over the larger defender.
Kid Gilchrist, no luck. The Heat trail by 5.
Don't have to be in a hurry. They can hold for the last one.
No question. It's not easy to be patient, but you really don't want to give up an extra possession.
Right side a screen. Here's Dragic from outside. Not going to go that time.
And you know what? You can't get a better screen. Frees him up beautifully, but he just fails to capitalize.
The best laid plans, right? Well, I tell you right there, though, that's one they'll take every single time.
The third quarter comes to a close. Hornets lead by 5. We'll be back shortly live from Spectrum Center. Let's listen in on what Eric Spoelstra had to say to his team.
We're getting us out of stuff. Make hard cuts. Everything with force. Okay? Come on.
And there's Eric Spoelstra asking his guys to play with a little sharper mind, with a little more intense, with more vigor.
And simply put, it's about reaching another level of intensity. When they're attacking, that's when they're at their best.
Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. MKG and Zeller at the forward duo. Jeremy Lamb out there with Monk. And it's Kaminsky in at the 5 spot. So that's the Hornets 5. Dragic gets the bucket.
And he has the chops for this, raising the intensity when it matters most.
And he's showing you he wants to close this game out. That's an attitude that he brings and is appreciated by this team.
Fades and shoots. Count it. And that's now 6 points for Frank Kaminsky.
Soft touch on the mid-range jumper. Kaminsky taking what the defense gives him.
There's the pick. Raiders with the ball. Now guarded by Monk. Johnson the screen. Kicks it to Winslow. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Yeah, just nice strength there and then just off with the shot.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
First free throw is good, and that narrows the lead down to just 3. Kelly Olynyk's checked in for Miami. Second free throw, no good. A tough break there.
If he hits all of those, they're feeling a lot more comfortable. But now, still a 1-possession game.
And Kid Gilchrist kicks to Kaminsky. Shoots over Olynyk. Kaminsky misses. And Miami shooting at 36% on the night. They've got to step it up offensively. Dragic the pass to Waiters. Screen by Olynyk. Now here's Waiters. He's covered closely. Over Lamb. Near the 3-point line, it's Olynyk. It's rebounded by Charlotte.
And that's the shot you want to create. They just can't get it to fall.
And that just shows you can do everything right sometimes, but still get the wrong result. He made quite a few of these in college. Kaminsky, a clutch shooter when it matters most.
And the Heat call time here. They're trailing by 5. 26 seconds left in the game. And now we present our Jordan Player of the Game.
And in terms of his shooting, this has been one of the more accurate performances you'll ever see. I mean, he's been in constant motion, creating a lot of good looks for himself. But still, even when you're wide open, you expect to miss some of the time. And that has not been the case here tonight. This guy has made everything.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hornets. Howard's checked in for Kaminsky. Williams comes in for Zoe. And Walker subbed in for Monk. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
During that break, Eric Spoelstra had some words for his team. He told them, don't look at the scoreboard. It's 0-0. One play at a time. Execute the game plan. That's how we're going to win this game. Kevin, he's trying to keep them focused.
He hits the first one, and that increases their lead to 6.
And Kemba Walker, a national champion at UConn. You knew he'd be an impact player in the NBA.
And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 7-point game.
I know he feels good about that. A perfect trip to the line further extends the lead.
Timeout called, the Heat. They trail by 7. 20 seconds left in the game. Guys, your thoughts?
And this is what happens when you dig yourself a hole. It's hard to climb out of.
And they can only blame themselves. A few missed opportunities, some miscues that they'd like to have back. It all adds up.
20 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Johnson for 3. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points.
Oh, and a nice job of turning that miss into 2 points on the tip in.
Hustle points, I believe they call them. Hustle points right there. So the first one drops, and that increases their lead to 6. So he gets them both, and it's a 7-point game. Dragic kicks to Richardson. Nails the triple.
And this has been a clinic on what not to do defensively. Just atrocious.
And it's been the same on both sides. Guys getting wide open looks all day.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. You can't just let them dribble the game out.
He gets the first, and that puts them up by 5.
And Monk is an interesting player. A combo guard with fantastic scoring potential, quick on both ends of the floor.
And so both free throws are good, and it's a 6-point ball game.
He's stepping to the line knowing he has a chance to seal the deal, but he doesn't.
Knocks down the 3. Charlotte calls timeout. They lead by 3. Just 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And now they decide to foul intentionally.
No choice but to foul there, but he's probably the last guy you want to see on the line.
And he misses the first one. Boy, he wanted that one to fall. And he ends up making the second, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. Dragic, no good. So a close game sees Charlotte taking this one. Probably a little closer than they would have liked it, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, but I really got a sense that the fans gave them that emotional boost that was needed down the stretch. This crowd, man, they were electric.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. So long, everyone.